You gotta love Dracula movies for those constant wardrobe changes. Treat yourself to a wardrobe change up with the sponsor of this video. This video is brought to you by Fabletics, here to help you find the perfect athletic fit. But Fabletics does have more than just athletic wear. They have clothing options from athletic, casual, most anything you need for your day-to-day or activities. They have a variety of fits to match your individual body type. Their selections update every month, constantly changing out, keeping the options flowing. Because new year, new me, right? You gotta dress the part. Happy to say I'm back in the gym. I've been cleared to do pull, not push exercises for my arm. If you didn't know, I was in a motorcycle accident last August. Snap my humerus. I do have a pretty sweet scar now, though. I've become atrophy. Gotta get back. And I got me some Fabletics to rock while I do. So click the link below or scan the QR code, and right now you can get 70 to 80% off your first order when you sign up to be a VIP member. Which, being a VIP member, also saves you up to 50% off daily. Each month your VIP membership gives you 1 credit for a 2-piece outfit, or any product up to $100, as well as gives you monthly drops, early access to styles, and VIP only sales. And free membership to the Fit app, so go ahead. Treat yourself. And now, another Dracula movie. Alright, world can never have too many of them. Let's talk about another one. So Dracula is a new telling of Dracula. This time around brought to us by director Luc Besson, which, funny enough, Gary Oldman was Dracula in Bram Stoker's Dracula. Gary Oldman was in The Fifth Element. Luc Besson directed The Fifth Element. Luc Besson is now directing a Dracula film without Gary Oldman. I don't know what it means. I don't know what you want to do with that information, but there it is. This is another telling of Dracula. However, the hook here is that it's concentrating more on the love story angle of Dracula. So Bram Stoker's Dracula again? And to be clear from the get-go, here's the key to the terminology for this review. When I say Bram Stoker's Dracula, I'm talking about the Francis Ford Coppola film. When I say the book, I'm talking about Bram Stoker's Dracula. Makes sense? No? Well, I tried. I feel like Francis Ford Coppola was trolling with the title of that movie. So this stars Caleb Landry Jones as Dracula, which I'm not gonna lie, was like, he's Dracula? I don't know, man. In X-Men First Class, when I saw him striking out trying to flirt with that chick in the aquarium, I was never like, Dracula on my bingo card. Anyhow, after 400 years of brooding, he believes his long-dead love has been reincarnated as Mina. Now the time has come for another Dracula film. I'm not gonna lie though, the dude did a solid job as Dracula. However, is he Dracula or is he Gary Oldman? I might be biased in the sense that, I'm gonna be honest with you too, I've never read the Dracula book, but I do really love Bram Stoker's Dracula, the movie. I have that film on every available format, from VHS to 4K. Some formats I have duplicates, because there's a difference between the Laserdisc and the Criterion Laserdisc. However, like anyone who loves a movie but hasn't really read the book, I've done some light reading into the differences, and it sounds like the visual aesthetic of Dracula, the stylistic interpretation, was Francis Ford Coppola's interpretation of Dracula. However, this movie does have him looking kinda like that, but it's like, Temu Bram Stoker's Dracula? Like that meme of when you order it online versus when it arrives? I'm laughing at the image now. Just a picture of a 400-year-old single cat lady living with her pet gargoyles, which shows how important hair and makeup is, as well as a distinct stylistic interpretation for your version of the story. Because I thought this dude was solid as Dracula, but the whole thing looks, feels, and comes across like an interpretation of Bram Stoker's Dracula, the Coppola film, which I feel does him a disservice, leaving him in the shadow of Gary Oldman here. He was solid. My problems with his character were never him. Because this is a very sad, broody Dracula for a lot of it. I know some of you out there are like Bram Stoker's Dracula. More so, though. He feels like slightly more lovesick kid Dracula here. His hair's all wet in front of his face while he's crying, a lot of spit in his mouth while he's crying and talking. A big problem, or maybe it's a blessing, is that the only two characters that really stand out are him as Dracula and Christoph Waltz as Van Helsing. Or Priest. He's just credited as Priest. I guess he is never called Van Helsing in the movie, but he's totally Van Helsing. On the other hand, there's no one that stands out who can kind of ruin the whole film for people. Like, we all love Keanu. We all love Keanu Reeves, and we all unanimously agree that that was a huge miscasting in Bram Stoker's Dracula. Funny enough, it was supposed to be Johnny Depp, but he wasn't famous enough at the time. So is Dracula a priest who's not Van Helsing, but is totally Van Helsing and other people? But I've always liked those Van Helsing characters, whether they are Van Helsing or they're not, like in Nosferatu. Or apparently also this movie. The way Christoph Waltz's character has been following the trail of these vampires for so long, trying to find this vampire lord that may or may not exist, but he's pretty sure he exists. He's just so cool and confident in the face of evil. He's an absolute scene stealer. I mean, he's Christoph Waltz. He's always reliably a scene stealer. But he was well cast here. Even when this movie kind of turns into a cartoon, he's there to pull it back on course. And yeah, this movie definitely does come across as cartoony at times. Maybe that's a problem with so many iterations of Dracula are out there. Where do you go? It's gonna have some humor in some moments. What's that you say? Out of place humor? Yup, it's 2026. What else would it be at this point? Yeah, sometimes there's some physical humor that didn't land with me. Sometimes Dracula's being cheeky, not scary, which I feel like in the face of that kind of evil, he should feel a little scarier. On the other hand, if they went with completely broody, scary Dracula, this would definitely be compared to Nosferatu that came out 2 short years ago. Scratch that, a little over 1 short year ago. Wow. Time flies, yet drags at times. But the trick is to find the Goldilocks zone here. The humor just compromised what otherwise could have been a deeper look at the tragedy, the evil. You get it, you know what it's Dracula. It doesn't commit enough to be a Dracula comedy, so it all just kind of feels out of place. The very physical embodiment of this conflicting tone and vibe are these little gargoyle friends that Dracula has in his castle. Little CGI gargoyles, very noticeable CGI by the way. They are the live action, but not live action, but as live action as any other Disney live action adaptation, so there's that, and that'll make sense for this comparison. They don't talk, so they reminded me of the mute versions of the gargoyles from Hunchback of Notre Dame, the Disney animation. Once that hit me, I was like, okay, come on. Yeah, the CGI is noticeable, so is the green screen. There's some rooms that, yeah, that looks like a period accurate room. Once the room gets big enough, it's like the John Wick Chapter 4 long walk there. It was noticeable green screen for days. Look, in the end, I don't hate the movie. Just, what is the movie? It's a Dracula movie that wants to play up the romance. But even though this movie spends a lot more time in the setup before he becomes Dracula to show said romance, that's another thing, the movie's too long too. 2 hours, 9 minutes, didn't need to be. But I don't feel the movie conveyed the love. It conveyed the lust perfectly, but not the love. All I learned was this girl was really fun and apparently a really good lay. Show me these two make the choice to still love each other past the honeymoon phase, and I will feel like they still love each other. But all this movie showed me was the girl was really fun and the dude needs a hobby. I did like how this movie plays up the forgiveness angle a little more, but all in all, the film really didn't justify its own existence. You could watch this Dracula movie, or any of the other interpretations that are out there. But maybe this movie would be a better time if you're drunk.
Yes, now it's a party.
A rating that's oddly, possibly a little hypocritical now. Because after I did my 3-day fast at the beginning of the year, I was like, okay, I'm in health mode. Let's stay healthy. At a point in 2026, I realized I haven't had any alcohol and I feel good. I'm gonna keep that going, which does make me the boring guy when I'm out with friends. I'll take an ice water with a lime slice, please. But my rating's here to illustrate a point. Yeah, with some booze, it'd probably be a little better. All right, so Dracula, the 2026 edition, though internet says it came out in 2025, but here it came out in 2026. Have you seen it? What did you think about it? Or what's your favorite Dracula movie? You don't even have to go conventional, dude. I think Dracula 2000's cool. Like, that's my guilty pleasure right there. I mean, it's not my favorite, but I enjoy it. Whatever it is, whatever you think, comment below, let me know. And as always, if you like what you've seen here and you want to see more, click right here to see more.